Disappointed.
Exactly.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring you the Werner Herzog interview after the travel in about 5 minutes' time, so we can review a couple of things, or one thing, or however many you want to review, really.
Yeah. So on the subject of censorship, this is not a film, which is not a film by Jafar Panahi. You know, we just had an Iranian movie won the Oscar for Best Foreign Language Film, Separation, which was absolutely fantastic. It's very, very difficult to make films in Iran. Jafar Panahi was convicted in December 2010 of making propaganda against the system, was placed under house arrest, given a 6-year jail term. He's apparently still in the judicial phase of house arrest, and banned from making films for 20 years. I mean, this is the really hard edge of censorship. In the case of This Is Not a Film, which was apparently smuggled out of the country on a USB hidden inside USB, yes, thank you, hidden inside a cake.
A dongle.
Yes, and the whole point is he's not allowed to make films, he's not allowed to direct films. So what happens is he gets a friend over, and it's basically a day in his life, waiting on verdict stuff, talking about his inability to make films. I mean, it's one of those strange things about watching somebody who is really passionate about cinema being told that he's not allowed to make this, he's not allowed to do this anymore. And it sounds like it ought to be the most incredibly stifling and dull thing to watch, somebody being in their house, not being able to make a film, and just saying, look, let's... And the whole point is he's not. What he does is he says, OK, well, I'm not making a film. The other guy is making the film. And what happens is he's got a script that he wasn't allowed to make, and he's not allowed to direct. But what he says, I'll tell you what I can do. I can act out the script. And he starts marking up the living room with tape to delineate the set. And the story is of a girl who's imprisoned in her house. And it sounds like a typical Jafar Panahi film. And so he starts to get quite excited about the possibility of telling this story. And then halfway through, he breaks down. He says this incredibly moving thing. He says, if this is used as the tagline on the poster, he says, if we could tell a film, then why make a film? And what he's saying is that there is something about filmmaking that is... You can't describe a movie. A movie is a movie. And then he starts getting copies of his own movies off the shelves and showing clips from them in which things that he didn't direct, things that the cast did that were utterly unpredictable, happened in front of him. And I tell you, it's like watching a masterclass by somebody who lives and breathes and exudes cinema, and the way in which he's overwhelmed by the most powerful thing in his films being the things that he didn't put there, the things that happened organically, the things that happened in front of him, he's humble, he's fantastic company. The film is oddly, in many ways, quite humorous. I mean, often he has this iguana that's crawling around the room, which is his pet iguana, which kind of lends it a bit of Herzogian air, because Herzog's got this whole reptile thing going on.
Herzogen.
No, as in, I think not Herzogian, Herzogian. Anyway, so it's not a film. It's not a film by Jafar Panahi. It really tells a very important story about the circumstances under which some filmmakers are working, and what it's genuinely like to be told that you can't do this. This is full-on state censorship. You cannot do this. And yet the film itself, which is not a film, as we keep saying, and he has to keep repeating this because to make a film would be breaking the terms of his imprisonment. He's not allowed to do it. And it's not very long. It's about 70 minutes long. And I was really entranced by it and really impressed, not just by the spirit and the integrity of the people depicted, but by the fact that somehow in the middle of all of this, there are really cinematic moments. The sight of watching him attempting to plan this movie out on the carpet and then realising right before your eyes, the camera actually capturing the moment when he realises that you can't tell a film, like he knew this anyway. And if you can't tell, why would you make it if you could just tell it? It's really worth seeing on so many levels, and it's very, very interesting and very, very important, and he is such an impressive character.
Will it be tricky to see?
Well, it is getting a release, and in fact, I mean, obviously, it's not going to be playing in your local multiplex. I don't think it's going to be knocking Wrath of the Titans off the big screen. But I see from the papers today that many people have had it as Film of the Week, which is great as far as art house circuit is concerned. That kind of boost is really, really important.
Now, one of the films that's out this week is called